Make sure to listen. Find out how to listen to God in this episode of 5 Minutes Closer. I'm Vaughn Weatherford, and this is 5 Minutes Closer. For the next 5 minutes, let's explore some biblical truths and apply them to your life. No podcast, including this one, can transform your life or give you what you really need. Only Jesus can do that. You can find out why in what I've called the first five episodes of 5 Minutes Closer. Each following episode explores scriptural truths that, if you follow them, will bring you 5 minutes closer to the person God created you to be. Let's see if we can get you 5 minutes closer. It's amazing how our ears can identify what we are hearing when sound is the only information we have. We hear a siren, and we know it's a siren even before we see the ambulance. We hear thunder, and we know it's thunder even before we see the rain clouds. Sometimes, though, that's not the case. That was the situation for Joshua as he and Moses descended Mount Sinai. Hearing the sounds of the people below, Joshua was concerned they were at war. Having been told by God what was happening, Moses knew it was much worse. Here's what the Bible tells us in Exodus chapter 32, verses 17 and 18. When Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said to Moses, "There is the noise of war in the camp." But he said, "It is not the sound of shouting for victory or the sound of cry of defeat, but the sound of singing that I hear." Part of the people of Israel's problem was that no one stopped to listen. The people didn't listen to Moses, or more importantly, they didn't listen to what God was saying through Moses. Moses had told them he was going up on Mount Sinai to meet with God. God had promised not to forsake the people in the wilderness, and he proved that promise time and time again. He delivered them through the Red Sea. He provided manna for them to eat. He provided water for them to drink. Still, the people didn't listen. Instead, they grew impatient and began to look for another god to follow. Aaron didn't listen to what the people had asked him to do. When they came asking him to make them an idol, he, of all people, should have realized what they were asking him to do. He should have immediately recognized how foolish it was to make a golden calf and call it God. To proclaim that this hunk of melted jewelry was what had brought them out of Egypt, how ridiculous was that? That golden cow didn't even exist when they had come out of Egypt, and it was just a statue, and it was a cow. The people of Israel didn't listen to themselves. If they had listened to the songs they were singing while dancing around that idol, surely somebody would have stopped that nonsense. Dancing around in a drunken orgy, worshiping a side of beef made out of gold, if they had for one moment listened to themselves praising this future ground round, they would have certainly realized the insanity of what they were doing. But no one stopped to listen. Have you ever awoken from a nightmare, frightened, but then realized just how ridiculous what you were dreaming about really was? When I was 7, I had a nightmare about a snake chasing me through the house. Yeah, that would be frightening. But when I woke up, I realized the snake in my dream was actually a sock puppet I had made in Sunday school. Even at 7, I realized being frightened of a sock puppet was ridiculous. So I went back to sleep, having defeated the dreaded sock monster. Temptation is like that. When we first hear it, temptation looks powerful. It looks good. But if you stop to think about it, temptations don't make sense. Here, drink this. You'll feel woozy, make an absolute fool out of yourself, throw up, pass out, and wake up tomorrow feeling like you got run over by a truck. Now that's the life. Go ahead. Run around on your spouse. You'll wreck your marriage, lose your kids, and make a disaster out of your life. But everybody's doing it. Why should you miss out? Take some time to really listen to what the world is trying to say. Better yet, compare what the world says to what the Bible says. God reveals foolishness for what it really is. It's always better to listen to God. And now, you're 5 minutes closer. My prayer is that these 5 minutes have challenged you, inspired you, and caused you to consider applying God's message for your life from His Word. To find out more, visit our website at 5minutescloser.com. Join me next time to see if we can get you 5 minutes closer.